Hi there, Melissa. We're going to start with the challenges ahead for the next French government. You've probably heard here on France 24 that Manuel Valls has been named the next Prime Minister here in France. But we're yet to hear more about his future team. Whoever becomes the next Finance Minister, for instance, will be closely scrutinised, and he or she will have his or her inbox full from the start. Here's one example that weighed on French stocks this Monday. The government overshot last year's deficit target. According to the National Statistics Office, France had pledged to cut the deficit to 4.1% of its GDP, but only managed to get 4.3% in the end. The French government wants to cut the deficit to 3% by 2015, but it seemed to be facing an uphill battle to get that budget deficit to agreed levels. Now, as I said, the main stock market index here in Paris came under pressure because of those deficit figures. The CAC 40 was down almost 0.5% at the close, deeper into negative territory than its European peers. European stock markets overall, though, they closed pretty mixed, and we're going to take a look at what brought some happiness, I suppose you can say, to some investors in Europe in just a moment. First, though, let's take a look at the US markets. In the United States this hour, we're seeing a little bit of a pop after Fed Chief Janet Yellen said US interest rates would stay low for some time yet. Now, as I said before, here's one story that's closely watched by markets this week. There's fresh pressure on the European Central Bank to do more to boost the Eurozone economy. It comes after inflation in the countries that use a single currency came in at just 0.5% in March. It was the third month in a row that inflation fell, and it's fueling fears that the Eurozone is heading for deflation. The ECB's own target rate when it comes to inflation is 2%, and there are calls for the central bank to ease its monetary policy to get closer to that target figure when ECB officials meet on Thursday. And as I said, this speculation that the ECB could do more to boost the Eurozone economy brought some happiness to European markets this Monday. Now, Eurozone finance ministers, they're due to meet in Greece on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that is putting the spotlight squarely on Greece's finances. A strike among ferry workers left ships anchored in the country's biggest port, Piraeus, this Monday. This as sailors walked off the job, saying they haven't been paid for months. They're also opposed to a range of reforms passed by the Greek parliament late Sunday. Jonathan Crane has more.
Greek sailors united in their anger at the latest raft of government reforms. With their ships firmly anchored to port and going nowhere, the sailors carried signs that promised more strikes until their victory. Some of these men haven't been paid in months. They fear the reforms, which include privatising this port in Piraeus, will lead to the loss of jobs and further destroy their industry.
These reforms will be the end of Greek sailors. Passenger ships are just the beginning. Furthermore, they want to abolish the sacred right to strike, which is the workers' constitutional right.
Parliament passed the reform bill late on Sunday after a narrow vote, needed for Greece to get the latest tranche of EU IMF bailout money. That will allow the country to pay off 9.3 billion euros of debt due in May, part, the government says, of the long road to recovery.
We managed to stay on our feet. We all owe it to ourselves as citizens to work together for shared principles and values. So that in 10 years from now, we will be one of the most culturally, politically and economically developed countries.
Despite those sentiments, thousands of people protested the measures outside Parliament, as well as a series of privatisations, including of the country's fourth biggest lender, Eurobank. The reforms will see cuts to state healthcare and changes to the rules on collective wage negotiations.
OK, that is the business news for now. I'll be back in an hour with more business headlines. Melissa.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much indeed, Marcus Crossan. 23 minutes past 9. It is time now here on France 24 for a look at what's got people clicking in cyberspace. It's web news.